niggas doing out there, right? Because you think you can control what I say, which is comical. It's comical that a person who never served in the military would tell someone who did what they can and cannot do. That's incredible. That's incredible in itself. But of course, not all of us have good genetics, right? Some of us are like Edward M. Pruitt III, right? Who clearly have shit genetics. And they weren't capable of serving. They weren't capable of doing anything besides grifting. Of course, that's all they're good at. Of course, is grifting and their fake outrage and their selective outrage, right? It's all very selective. You can see a pattern or a trend here. It's really just I hate white people because I'm jealous because white people are superior to me, right? Edward Pruitt, right? They're all superior to you. Melissa Sampe included. She's actually a good woman, which kind of pisses me off because, Melissa Sampe, she's always been nice to me. She's always been helpful to me. She's always been resourceful, and I don't know. It's just kind of weird, right? That grifters always seem to want to attack white people that are unapologetic. It's really, really, really baffling, or white appearing people, I should say, right? So I don't know. He's a bootlicker one day. He doesn't like the police the next. So I don't know. I mean, because I was, criticizing a guy that I thought he didn't like, which was the guy who murdered John Zook Jr. But as we can see, that was all just a big grift, guys. He doesn't really give a fuck about John Zook Jr. Well, I do. And that's why Zook Pond, I've been working on this project since December of 24. I mean, really it started before that, but December of 24, that's when the idea came to fruition. And, I've been working on this project for a couple of years. So that way we can properly honor Mr. Zook, who is a combat veteran, right? Because, he's a brother to me, right? He wore the same uniform I did. And so, it was brutally and how the city covered it up. And I just can't think of, a better person to name the only body of water in the city of Wayne after. So that is something I look forward to, of course. And, like I said, it's very telling. It's very telling, but, enough about that worthless nigger. What's new with you guys? How's everybody doing? How is everybody doing out there? It is a rainy Friday, and we have to go take care of a couple things before the weekend starts here. And we're going to take care of those things. And we're going to get... I was going to go outside and do some tree planting today, but it's a little bit how I say not ideal for that type of a scenario, but it is what it is. Life's never ideal. There's never going to be an ideal perfect moment to do anything, right? That's the thing, that's the lie, right, that people believe. Oh, it's timing, and the right person will come around, and if we just keep trying to vote our way out of this mess, eventually we're going to get the right combination of people and we're going to vote ourselves out of this mess. I mean, it's crackhead logic, it's retard logic, but that's what people believe. And it takes people a while to escape the matrix, right? It takes people a while to see the light, and some people, they never see the light, right? But you pray that they will, that they'll see reality for what it is, and they'll go, oh, well, clearly there's a cause and effect here, right? Clearly there's been a cause and effect. And, you can get mad at the messenger, or, you can actually take the message in and, use it to benefit society, right? Use it to, at the very least, speak the truth. Because speaking the truth doesn't cost you anything, except your freedom sometimes, your life sometimes, just everything. But, it is what it is, guys. I mean, I can't change history, right? I can't, go back in time. I don't have a time machine. I don't have none of that. But, I can refuse to submit. I can refuse to bend the knee. I can call a cuck bitch, and a faggot, and a nigger, right? If that's how you're acting, that's what you're presenting to me, that's what I can call you. And I'm not gonna apologize because I have some white ancestry, and because like no, I know that's the kind of the thing in the world now in America, right? You got to apologize for being white or being associated with being white, right? Because they'll call people that are completely black white supremacists, right? Because they have a different viewpoint, or maybe they don't subscribe to the same fucked up worldview that they're subscribed to. So you know they don't know how to handle that, and so their only reaction, right, is to just call people racist because they don't have an argument, right? Listen, when people don't actually have an argument to what you're saying, and they don't actually want to address the substance of what you're saying, they'll just call you a racist, they'll call you a sexist, they'll call you a homophobe, right? They'll label you with some pejorative language, which does nothing more than a distraction, right? That's what a grifter is, right? It's just a distraction. And that's what I sometimes have to deal with. And I let them grift, right? I pray for them, and I say, I hope you see the way, and I hope you see reality, right, at some point. And maybe this reality, right, where we didn't allow nigger bullshit on every corner. We didn't allow homeless and camp up wherever. We don't put fentanyl, Narcan dispensing degeneracy. How far is the degeneracy willing to go? Basically, my question is this. I guess this is kind of like a social experiment, right? Me being an organizational psychologist and all. This is really a big case study. How far is a middle class American city? How far are they willing to be degraded before they realize like what's really important, right? Like how far is the city of Wayne willing to allow its standard of living to fall before they go, look, I don't care who, like, it's like, when are, like, basically, yeah, let me rephrase it this way. When is America, when is a city in the United States of America, when is that city going to collectively say enough is enough, to the point to where they care more about the message, they care more about dismantling the system than they care about who's dismantling it, right? Because, I mean, that's really the Trump effect, right? I mean, people voted for Donald Trump because they cared more about dismantling the corrupt, shitty system than they do about Donald Trump, his past, whatever, like that to me matters far more. The message, the ultimate goal, the end game, right? The long-term goal, right? That to me is far more important than oh well, this guy went about this a certain way, or he said this, or he said that, or you know he told this person to suck his 8-inch dick to the balls, or he didn't apologize to this worthless nigger who's just a parasite talking shit. And he put him in his place. He called him, he told him what needed to be said, right? The truth, right? Because John Racy, of course, he always wants to say, oh, we need to start talking the truth, right? Big thing I've ever heard in my life. John Paul Racy, right, telling other people they shut their mouth and speak the truth, right? And it's like, yeah, we see what happens when you speak the truth in Wayne. You get put in jail, you get retaliatorily prosecuted like Blackwell, you get maliciously prosecuted like McFarland, right? Or you get discriminated against, ran out of town, right? True homophobia, right? Which is what they did to Anthony Miller. Because I might call a faggot, a bitch, a cunt, a cunt, but there's no hate in my heart towards people that have a difference of opinion, right? I mean, like I said, as long as you're not flamboyant and you're not imposing that upon me, if you're just a normal person with normal ideas, you just so happen to be gay, and based on your behavior, I wouldn't even know you were me. I couldn't care less, right? It's really low on the totem pole for me, right? I mean, I'd ideally prefer everyone is heterosexual, and we have men and women, and we have lots of healthy children, and big strong families, and that's what America's missing. That's why America's failing and crumbling, because just like they've done in the city of Wayne, they've turned the city of Wayne into an Airbnb, all these rental properties, all this commercial shit, and it's all garbage anyways, right? It all attracts transient populations, right? The opposite of what you want, which is you want families, and big families, right? Huge families. And you know, it's all about priorities, right? It's all about the quick buck, right? Because the city of Wayne, they can tax the commercially zoned properties a bit more than they can tax the residential 1A properties, right? Single family properties, right? The zoning, right? It's just, it's sick, man. It's fucking sick. So my philosophy, no taxes at all. Cut all property taxes. Cut all income tax. Every tax, right? Shouldn't even be a tax. Maybe a consumption tax, maybe. A sin tax, possibly, right? I guess. But I've seen the government for the last, you know, for my entire life, waste, squander, piss away trillions of dollars and have nothing to show for it other than, you know, endless wars and, you know, genocide all over the working. So I don't know. Just coming in here with some fresh ideas, a different perspective, and if you don't like it, well, hey, tough tit, guys. But I'll be back with you in a minute.